And thanks to Godfrey there for that update. Switching gears from Uganda to Cameroon, tensions are rising in the country as the country awaits the official results of the presidential election expected to be announced tomorrow, Thursday, by the Constitutional Council. It's been more than a week since voters went to the polls on October 12th. Since then, demonstrations have broken out in at least 3 cities, with protesters demanding that polling station results be fully respected. In Garoua, the northern stronghold of opposition candidate Issa Chiroma Bakari, clashes between demonstrators and security forces have left at least 1 person dead. Calls are growing for transparency and electoral integrity, while authorities in several cities, including the economic capital, Douala, have taken preemptive measures, closing schools and restricting motorcycle movement today and tomorrow. To help us unpack the latest developments, I'm joined by Kathleen Ndongmo, who was in Douala in the entirety of the week of the elections. Growing public unrest and reports of violence, we sort of preempted and anticipated this happening. How much confidence do you think Cameroonians have that the Constitutional Council will deliver results that truly reflect the will of the people?
The confidence that Cameroonians have is in a historical low right now. Cameroonians do not trust the institutions, especially the electoral body and the Constitutional Council, based on a history of electoral disputes that have been, have shaped their mindset. In the 1992 and 2018 elections, the same complaints of electoral malpractice and fraud and manipulation of results were what caused clashes, especially in 2018 when the forerunner then Maurice Kamto was picked up and together with other contenders and human rights defenders. The Constitutional Council, which was created in 1996 and only began its work in 2018, is also perceived as not trustworthy because all 11 members are appointed by the president. And so there's a worry of the possibility that will these people who are appointed by the incumbent be able to declare results if the incumbent is not the one that has won. So there's a high level of distrust in the institutions at the moment.
And many are now asking what the future of Cameroon would look like after the results are announced. Tomorrow is a fateful day, it seems already, even though it's not here yet. Do you see this election as a turning point for the country's political landscape and future internationally?
Historically, Cameroon is at the crossroads now. Over 50% of young Cameroonians aged below 35 are in the informal sector. There's no jobs. There is rife corruption. The country is currently going through a high inflation period. We have a crisis in the north, west and the southwest Anglophone regions, as well as Boko Haram crisis in the north. And so the belief that Cameroonians have, citizens have, is that we are at a point where we can no longer trust or afford the current regime to continue to rule when they have not, the perception is they've not given us what we need in terms of the economy, political stability, and even, infrastructure and all the basics that Cameroonians need. So we are at a historical turning point, and the hope is that, as a lot of people have said, the truth of the ballot is going to be upheld tomorrow.
If the truth isn't upheld tomorrow, if tomorrow's announcement fails to convince the public's public transparency of its transparency of the process, one has to ask about the potential, social consequences and political consequences, and whether or not the AU or ECOWAS will step in. Because I understand there's international observers as well, and they've also made note of what it is. What does this translate tomorrow?
It's going to be a very worrisome outcome if the people believe that the results have been manipulated. There is potential of crisis exacerbating. We currently have a secessionist movement, and because the front runner is from the north, there is a potential that you will have another secessionist movement in the north. So a split of the country is not what anybody needs, but given the clashes with security forces and the will of the people being pushing for their will, the possibility is that socioeconomically, if Cameroon does not get the results that we wish, the country might go down in a crisis that we would be very it will be very difficult to turn around from.
Right, and then just looking at all that's happening in West Africa, and especially the radicalization of all these other states, Mali, Gabon, one has to, and even Guinea, I think, one has to be concerned about now. I mean, you rightfully put this in a crossroads. I must say thank you, Kathleen Ndongmo. She has been covering the Cameroonian elections.